My name is Ron Fishman, and I was asked to speak about Kabbalah and my connection to the teachings and my experience with being in prison. I spent 22 years in federal prison in the United States, and the spiritual teachings have helped me to deal with both my inner conflicts and also outer conflicts. So the value of this teaching is to understand how your mind works and how your heart works. So when one is in life, one's always on a spiritual path, whether one understands it or not. And so when one becomes a little more awake to have a need, maybe from deep suffering, then one seeks out something, and the teachings possibly come and they will reveal something of an inner nature to oneself. And that's the value ultimately they'll have, to be able to reveal what you're really seeking for. So I was asked to explain how I came across this teaching. So the New York Center advertised in a magazine called Prison Legal News. And I had done a lot of legal work in prison, and I came across the advertisement, and I wrote to New York, and they had established a method to disseminate the teachings to prisoners, because prisoners don't have access to the computer, to webinars, to a lot of social media, or any social media in particular. So the only methodology to get materials is through the mail. So, and some prisons are totally limited in how much mail you can get. And so I was in a federal prison, and you're allowed to get mail. So I was sent these lessons, and they were in written form. And the lessons are study guides, and the study guides are there for you to assimilate the information, to familiarize yourself with the teachings, and to try to get a different perspective on life. So as you study these lessons, you are motivated to study these lessons because basically one's actions in life has brought you to a stage where you've suffered so much that you then feel there's a need to correct. So this correction is something that's internal inside yourself. So this is a deep change that's needed. And so to do this in one's search, one has to find some higher knowledge. And if you find something higher, you'll be able to evaluate your mind and your heart and what led you to this point. So there is the environment being a subculture and isolation in a sense. You can utilize this environment in a positive way. And it doesn't always have to be so negative, because you don't have all the pressures in one way that you do in life. In another way, you have other types of pressures. So you can utilize this to change your life for the future and the present. So the possibilities are great. And so you've been brought by the forces to this point where you've have attracted this in a way. Your magnetic attraction has brought you to these teachings, and the teachings then will assist you to change your life. So this teaching is of great value to anyone, especially in prison. It's an extra added value because it can help you have a higher purpose inside of yourself, because in prison there's so much despair, anger, frustration, and suffering. So when one reaches a certain point, these teachings can assist you how to deal in your daily life. And so this is a really positive thing for people to have this available to them, because one is seeking the answers because one has suffered so much. And so there isn't this kind of information given easily. And so this is of great value to people. And so especially when one is in a very dark state in these places, this can bring some light to one's life. Now, since I've spent so much time in prison, I understand what people are going through. I understand the mechanics of prison, the oppression, the negativity, the state in separation from family, life, and all. There's negative and positives to both. So I'm willing to try to bring what I've learned and have absorbed in both these teachings and others, and bring this to be of some assistance to people that are still incarcerated.